many times that I miss you. I know how to call when I want to. Now you got way bigger issues. You're running around like you single. Slow down, only you the ginger the whole town. Slow it sometime. Go out, mountain for your back, make it run wild. Slow it sometime.
Hi guys, welcome back again to my channel. So in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you guys how I recreated this beautiful pink Vicky James BUBU dress that is tight around the waist. Now the back is free, just the waist in front is tight. So if you're interested in learning how to make this, keep on watching and let's get started. To make this dress, I'm going to be making use of this green Duchess fabric I have here. Now, you can use any fabric of your choice. You will need at least 3 yards of fabric to be able to make this dress. So, as you can see, like I said, this is Duchess. This is the fabric I want to use to recreate this dress. So, we are going to go ahead now and fold this fabric into two to draft out the back pattern. So there is I folded my fabric into two, as you can see. When making this fold, you have to keep it in mind that you're actually making a boo and you need to fold a lot of fabrics. So let me show you guys another a quick way you can actually determine how wide your fabric will be. So first I'm going to go ahead and draw a straight line across to serve as the shoulder line. Now on this shoulder line, remember that this is in a fold. Don't forget it's in a fold. So from the center back, I'm going to go in by half of my shoulder measurement, which is 7. So I'll mark it here. Now from this 7-inch point, I'm going to go down to how long I want this sleeve to be. So I'm marking it at 12 inches. So when you fold your fabric, make sure that you have checked it to be sure that it's going to give you this measurement as is folded like this. So you should be able to get your shoulder and your sleeve from your fold. So once you're through getting this, the next thing we're going to go ahead and do is from this center back here, I'm going to go in by 2.5 inch for the width of my neck. You can use 3 inches as well. And then I'm coming down by 1.5 inch. So I'm just using this to create a kind of round neckline. After drawing out the neckline, I'm going to come to the end of this area here, and from the shoulder line I'm going to come down by 1 inch. So I want to have like a kind of shoulder slope. So from this 1 inch I came down by, I'm just going to use my ruler to connect it all the way to the top of my neckline. I also decided to curve my neckline a little bit down to make it a little bit wider. So once you're through with that, the next thing you want to do is from this shoulder slope here, you're going to come down by how wide you want your sleeve to be. So I'm marking this at 10 inches here. As you can see, I marked it as 10 inch, and I'm drawing this line into the body. Now from the top of my shoulder line, I marked down to 10 inches. 10 inches is my bust point. Now on this bust point line, I am marking my bust measurement divided by 4 here. I marked it here. And now I'm adding extra 4 inches because this is a boo. Now you can add more than 4 inches if you want to. Now I will just connect this armhole down to where I have that extra 4 inch. And as you can see, I'm going to now curve it all the way down, and I'll be going straight down to the end of this fabric. Now for the sleeve area, I'm going to go ahead and just draw a straight line to connect the shoulder and the end of the sleeve like this. And now we'll go ahead and just cut everything out. So guys, this is all for the drafting of the back pattern. Now for the front pattern, I folded my fabric into two again, and as you can see, I've drawn a straight line all the way from the top to the end, and this line is 1.5 inch away from the end of my fabric. This fabric is also in a fold. The center front is going to be having a stitch in the middle, so that's why I created this line here. So now I'm placing this center back piece on this line exactly that I marked here. Remember I said the line is 1.5 inch away from the end of the fabric. So I'm going to go ahead and pin this back piece on the front pieces that we have here. Make sure that you're arranging the center back to be exactly on that line that we have on the front pattern, okay? So go ahead and pin everything down. Now I'll go ahead and cut the top of the neckline. You can see I've not cut the neckline for the front pattern yet, but I'm going to be tracing every other part as it is on the back into the front pattern. I'm tracing the armhole, the sides, everything will be the same except the neckline that I've not traced out. So this is what I have. You can see it here. So I'm going to open up this center front here as well. Go ahead and separate your front pieces into two. Once you're through with this, you can remove the pin from this place here, and I'm going to mark the neckline on the back pattern into the front so that the width will be exactly the same thing. Now from the top of this fabric, I'm coming down by 3.5 inch for the depth of my neckline, and I'm creating a round neck just like you see here. I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. If you feel like 3.5 is going to be too high for you, you can go down a little bit more. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove all the pins and then remove the back pattern from this front pattern. Now we have only the front pieces here. You can see we separated it into two. Now from the top of this neckline here, I'm going to come down by 4 inches and make a mark. Now I'm going to measure where I want my slit to start from. I actually placed my tape on the shoulder to do this. So I'm marking it here at about 34 inches. This is where I want my slit to start from. Now I will head over and stitch this area down on the sewing machine. Guys, after making my stitch, this is what it looks like as you can see. So there's going to be an opening at the neck area, and the other opening will be the slit in front. So now we're going to iron the neckline. So if you open up this slit in the center front of our dress, as you can see, you'll see that there is an opening here in the neck. So I'm going to go ahead and iron it out. So there is no way you can go about this without ironing it. You must iron this area out so that it will come out nicely. So once you're done ironing it out like this, you're going to use your hemi gum. So this is called a hemi gum. I'm going to be placing it inside my stitching allowance like this. So I'm going to be putting it in between the fabric and the stitching allowance here, and I'll use the stitching allowance to cover it up. So I'll go ahead and iron it in place so that this will help to gum the fabric with the stitching allowance. I'll do the same thing for the other side as well. If you don't have hemming gun, you can go ahead and use your hand to just hem this out, but it will not look as neat as what you have here actually. So I'm going to continue with this process all the way to the end of this front piece. Even for this slit area, I'm going to be using hemming gum. I'll also be cutting hemming gum and putting in this area and ironing everything out. So I'll do it from the top all the way to the end of the front piece. So once I'm through with that, the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is to pipe the neckline. So for this neckline, I want to pipe it with a bias tape. So I'm going to place it on the neckline like this from the front and then use it to fold the neckline towards the back. So I'll be doing it for the both sides, and I'll also do the same thing for the neckline of the back piece as well. So I'm going to also pipe the neckline here. So guys, this is what it looks like after I was done piping the neckline. I actually noticed that one was higher than the other after I was done. It's not supposed to be like that, okay? That was definitely a mistake. Now, you can see how this whole front slit area is looking after I was done using the hemi gum to iron it all the way to the end. Now, this is what I have for the back piece. I already piped the neckline as well. Now, we're going to go ahead and stitch down the shoulder. So you pick the front and the back shoulder area together like this and go ahead and stitch down the shoulders here, and do the same thing for this other side as well. So guys, this is what it looks like after I was done stitching it down. I also went ahead to just fold the sleeve area here and did the same thing for this side as well. So let's go ahead and turn this over to the wrong side so that we can stitch down the sides. So I'm placing my fabric together like this. You need to put it together, make sure everything is aligning well, and you're going to go ahead and stitch down the sides. If you are not sure that you'll be able to do this without pinning it down, I will advise that you go ahead and pin it down before going ahead to stitch down the side all the way to the end. And when I'm through with that, I'll trim off the excesses at the end of this and fold the ends. So guys, this is what it looks like. This agbada is actually ready. You can wear this like this and it will look absolutely nice. You can see I've hemmed the end. You can see how the slit area in front is looking nice, and you can see how everything looks. Now for the part that I know everyone has been waiting for, which is how to make the waist tight. I've gone ahead to cut out these two pieces that we are going to be using for our belt. It's about 4 inches wide and the length is about 30 something inches. Now, the length you use here is totally dependent on how big you are. Just make sure it's long enough to go around your waist, and that's all. So I'm going to head over to the sewing machine now and sew this like a belt. So I'll sew it on one side and this side like this and bring it out to the right side. So I went ahead to do that, and this is what I have here. Now I'm going to turn the back of my fabric. This is our dress that we've already made. I've turned it over to the back, and from the top of my shoulder I'm going to measure down to my waist. So my waist measurement is 15 inches. I'm marking it here and here. Okay, your shoulder to waist measurement, make sure you are making this mark on the front. So as you can see, I'm using my ruler to create a straight line across this point. Now you're going to divide your waist measurement into 4. Divide your waist measurement into 4. My waist measurement divided by 4 is, so from this center point here where we have our joining, I'm going to mark 6 towards this side, and again from here I'll mark 6 towards the other side here. So now I'm going to be bringing my belts and placing them on these points I just made. So I'll place one point belt like this. Make sure you're placing it just the way you see me doing it, like this. Place it here like this and pin it only to the front part. Make sure you're pinning it only to the front. So I'll pin it down here, and I'm going to do the same thing for the other side as well. I'll bring the other belt and I'm going to pin it to this same point I have here, only on the front part. Make sure that you are not mistakenly pinning it to the back as well. So now when you wear this dress, you're going to tie this belt around your waist. So when you wear it, you tie it around your waist, and that is what is going to give this dress that tight effect you have in front. So I'll head over to the sewing machine and stitch these areas in place only on the front. So guys, this is what it looks like after I was done stitching it on the front. Let's turn it over to the back so that you can see it more better. So you can see I've stitched it only to the front. Now when I wear this, I'll tie these ropes around my waist. That will make the front look tight, and the back is going to be free just like it is, because there's nothing to make it tight there. So that's basically all. You can see how it looks like here after I was done. You can see how tight it looks around the waist. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next one.